Today we'll be talking about Jamar Chase and his comments about the offense. We'll also be bringing in Eric and much more coming up on the Wincinnati Podcast.
Yes. Hello, world. We got a special show as always. TJ Houshmandzada, Jimmy Chase, Coach Jimmy Burrow.
How do you balance being a professional athlete and family obligation?
These are top 5 Bengals of all time.
All time?
Yeah.
Shock the world.
All right, welcome to the Wincinnati Podcast. I'm your host, Ace Boogie. He is my co-host, Zim. Zim, say what's up.
What it do? My man Sova with the remix. Did y'all catch the remix at the beginning of the show? We're still doing this stuff. We mixing it up, doing new things every single day of our lives. We're right in the heart of the Bengals, heart and soul of the franchise and all the good, great stuff. And I'm really excited about today's show. We got some really good stuff. I know we're doing some Q&A stuff. I like talking to the people, so I'm really, really excited about that. I was just telling the guys backstage how I put some Midwest barbecue sauce on my ribs.
Facts.
So that was lit. What else is there? It's Bengals and ribs.
Facts. We got another big show for you guys this Thursday night. Thank you guys for watching live. If you're not watching live and you want to see us, definitely check out the YouTube channel, Wincinnati. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. But we come to you guys every Tuesdays and Thursdays. But we're going to have a member, and we're going to introduce you to, you might have already met him. We're going to introduce you to the newest member of the Wincy family. Just Eric is going to join us. We're going to talk about his new show, The 513. Make sure you check that out. And we're also putting together a channel with all of the best Bengals content on the web, and we're going to bring that to you guys as diehard fans. We're also going to talk about Jamar Chase feeling comfortable all over the field. So not only on the outside, we will talk about him wanting to line up all over the place. And then we'll talk about how uncomfortable defensive coordinators are about hearing about that. And then we're going to invite you guys to be a part of the show. That's right. We're going to do a Q&A. That is right. Q&A, the first ever live one. So we want you guys to tap in. So if you know a Bengals fan that's missing this as we're recording this live, we are one of the only Bengals live podcasts. Make sure to share this out because we're going to be answering your questions live on air. All right, we are going to welcome in our man, Just Eric. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Doing good, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Of course, man, of course.
You know what this reminds me? This is like the time when Kanye got his Rockefeller chain from Jigga and Dame on the stage or whatever, and like here we are. We're about to go ahead and just kill the game. So I'm really excited about that.
Facts.
Yes,
Well, Eric, we're definitely glad to have you officially a part of the network. Let people know who aren't aware of you, which I don't know how you guys don't know him. If you don't follow him on Twitter, please be sure to do that. But let people know, what your background is, how you started out as a Bengals fan.
Yeah, man, I've been a Bengals fan since really the day I was born. Born and raised in Cincinnati. Really grew up in Forest Park. And, man, I've been a Bengals fan since I can remember. Been following the team. One of my favorite players of all time was Chad Johnson and Medea Williams. I love Medea Williams because I played safety in high school, and then I went on to play college ball at Miami University, and then I played at D2 school as well, too. So I played some D1 Division II football. And, man, I just love the game, right? And being a Bengals fan, tying those two together, I just kind of ran with it, man. And being a fan, nothing like being a Bengals fan. And what a day to be alive today, huh?
Facts. Well, tell us about the podcast, the 513. What is that show going to be about for Bengals fans?
Yeah, so the 513, it's a reaction show and also a show where we come on Mondays and we bring a little bit of a different perspective. Hey, we'll talk about the games when the season's going on, but out of season, we might look at some different perspectives of players, maybe some different narratives out there across the league, and maybe slay some narratives, and maybe even say, hey, look, maybe this narrative is not so far off. So just something to bring the people some juice and give them something different to listen to.
Facts. Well, I want to tee it up for an open table discussion with you, myself, and Zim. So let's talk about Jamar Chase's goals. He's got these goals out there, and he's talking about that he wants to line up everywhere in the slot, on the outside, the X, the Y, the Z. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, honestly, I feel like Jamar Chase lining up in the inside and the outside is going to be phenomenal for his production. Coming into next season, a lot of people are going to be planning to double him. He was getting double last year, but him moving around is going to make it tough on defensive coordinators to double him and also just trying to locate him before the snap. So I love it. His productivity is going to go up next season. And I know it's crazy to say that, but I really do believe that for sure.
It was like, man, put a number behind it. I was like, I don't know if you could just make it a stat line of 1,400 yards again or something like that. I just think that the attention, him going in, I just think about him going in motion in the slot, being able to tell Joe what he's seeing, like making sure we're like the, you know what I'm saying? Like just unraveling and picking through defenses. I just think it's a powerful tool, bro, on the tool belt with him moving around. If you think about the Chiefs game and the Ravens game, where he did a lot of work was in the slot. A lot of people that just think that, I know that he did get a lot of deep balls and stuff, but like a lot of his biggest gains came primarily out of the slot.
No, I think that's dope. Like you guys both said, I think that there's another level that he can tap into, and I think that's essentially what makes Jamar Chase a complete receiver. He can line up all over the field. I remember Tyler Boyd. That was one of the first things that he said. Now that they had Chase, they could really hide their looks. They could line up from anywhere. And I think when you have three guys like the Migos, the best thing that you can do is disguise the looks by moving them all over the place. And so I'm excited to see where they use them. They even used them in the backfield, as we saw last year at times. So like Chase being all over the field, I feel like that's going to be insane. And I love when he sets his goals, because we all saw him mop the floor with his goals last season. So I think Jamar Chase is definitely a man of his word. But I want to kick things and shift things, because I think we'll all have a different probably answer for this. And it's really going to circle around breakout players. Like, which Bengal, and I'll start with Zim on this one, do you think is primed to break out next season in 2022?
I'm hoping I can come on here and tell everybody about Chris Evans and Joseph Osai. I think are like the head catalyst. I'm sorry, I know I cheated by picking two people, but if one of them dudes gets, like the chance to prove itself and get a lot of snaps, bro, I just think it's going to be like a sad set of affairs for the opposition, because that's just like Chris Evans out the backfield now on wheel routes. Now I got your linebacker out there. Okay, you want to go coverage? Okay, now we're going to run, in between the tackles. Like, that's another piece on the chessboard where now I'm dictating what I want, and I'm forcing the issue with all of these different things. And I think last year you saw glimpses of it, and I think this year it's just like teams cannot hide behind what kind of coverage that you want to do. The only thing you could do is pre-snap show a look and maybe split the field, have the safeties come up, like go back into cover three, shells or anything like that. You could do different things like that once the ball is snapped. But pre-snap is going to be very telling, and Joe's going to already know I got this option of Chris Evans and I got this out, you know what I'm saying? So like if he can be a big part of this offense, it's going to go a long ways. And in this dream of us scoring 30-something points a game is an easy reality. And Joseph Osai, with us not bringing back Ogunjobi just yet, if he's able to just come in a NASCAR package, just year one, just think about Carl Lawson early on. If he's able to just rush the passer year one, I don't even care about sacks. Just put a hell of a lot of pressure on the quarterback. If he could do that in that third down, you already know Sam going to give you what he's going to give you from the run game. You already know he's going to give you the pressures and probably at least 8-9 sacks as well. So you do that with Osai. That's something most teams do not have, like 3 elite edge rushers. So if you can get close to that number, I just think that those are the two breakthrough guys that I just think it translates so early. It's blowouts.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go with a curveball here, and I'm going to go with Tyler Boyd. right? Like we talked to Elise on the last show. She said that Tyler Boyd just seemed that he was coming in with a different mentality this season. And I think that is going to be Tyler Boyd. Like low key, he's kind of going into a contract year. Just the way that the things are set up when you look at T. Higgins having to get paid. And so I think that he's going to want to prove his value once again. And also with him not getting that 1,000 yards, I think we're going to see them all get the 3 1,000-yard receivers. I think that happens next season. And I think that T. Higgins is actually, I mean, not T. Higgins, but Tyler Boyd is going to return to that guy that he was. Because I think that he left a lot of meat on the bone per se last season. Like, I feel like it was still very good, but we already know like what he did Joe's rookie year, that connection that they had. You talk about that Titans game where he just has a sixth sense and just turns around and grabs it out of the air. I think TB is about to eat next year, and I think he's going to go to another level. And so, just Eric, let's get yours, bro.
Hey, I want to say before I talk about I love the Tyler Boyd. I love the Tyler Boyd sleeper. T-Boy, one of my favorite players, man, on the squad, honestly. He just got that dog mentality. He's not the most talented player. He's not running a 4.2 40, but he's just going to get it out the mud, man. And I love the way he plays. I really do. Love Joseph Osai, and I love what you said there about Captain America. I think they call Chris Evans, man. I love that. So my player, man.
For sure.
My player, I think, who could be the sleeper, or maybe have a breakout, I hate to say sleeper, is Dax Hill, right? Look, I love the way Dax Hill plays. I'm not even going to lie. I just had a newborn child, and I was up all night. I watched so much film on Dax Hill and the way he plays. He runs fast, but he plays just as fast as he runs. And I think he can make a lot of plays, man. So I hope Jesse comes back, and I hope he can play a little bit more of a utility role. But also I think if Jesse doesn't end up playing, I think Dax Hill is going to be a guy playing next to a veteran like Von Bell that can make plays and probably going to fit right in very well. So I love what Dax brings to the table.
That's a good, like, let's talk about that for a second, because I know if y'all don't know, Eric, tell him what's your Twitter?
At just Eric _ on Twitter.
It's just _ Eric.
Yeah. It's actually at just Eric _ after my name.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yep.
All right, so me, Eric, Ace left us. He don't come in spaces no more, but we be in the spaces or whatever. And a lot of our opposition is quick to point out, like, man, Jesse Bates, y'all might not sign him or whatever. And a lot of Bengals people push back and say, we get that, but Dax Hill, based off of what we saw from the regular season from Jesse Bates, we feel like Dax Hill can fit right in. Maybe he's not Jesse Bates year one, but how far do y'all think the drop-off is? Like, when we're really talking about, I don't know, like from an athletic profile, it's not a drop-off. But, like, what do you think the drop-off is?
To me, it's hard to compare them from what I watched on Dax Hill. He's a Swiss Army knife. So, like, he's actually more similar to Mike Hilton a little bit. Like, he has a lot of Mike Hilton in his game. So I could see why that comparison has been made and that some have talked about that. I think that they're just kind of different players. I think Jesse, obviously, when he's on his A game, is a top flight safety in the NFL. He has great ball skills. Dax, he's a super smart player. He's super fast. That is the thing that like really stood out to me, how fast he got to quarterbacks and stuff like that when he was blitzing. He's a smart player as well. I think Jesse, one of the underrated attributes of him is his communication level. Like, he doesn't get enough credit for everybody being in the right place and stuff like that. You already know that, Eric, as a safety, you guys are kind of like the quarterbacks of the defense on the back end. So I think they are both talented guys, but I think that they are a little different in like their skill set. Like, not saying you can't bring Jesse Bates on the blitz, but I think when you bring in Dax on the blitz, it's a little different. And then Dax can also drop back and play a little in the slot a lot more. Not saying Jesse Bates can't do it, because he did do that at times, but I think Dax is just more versatile. And that doesn't mean that he's better, but I just line him up at.
Facts.
You just came on AFC North channel. If you guys don't know, Ace has another show he's a major part of too. It's a really, really great show. If you guys are on YouTube, AFC North, Have they talked about the rookies at all? Have they talked about like guys that
we've talked about like some of the draft picks, like the Bengals draft, the Steelers draft, and all of that? There are some of them that like Dax Hill, but as we've seen in Spaces, there's a lot of people that feel like it's going to be a huge drop off between Jesse Bates and Dax Hill, and they're thinking that we're going to panic, even though some of their guys are in some contract situations themselves. But I guess switching gears to that one, what are your thoughts, Eric, just on like what the AFC North has done in general in regards to like some of their top 2 rookies that they've drafted?
I think, of course, the Ravens had every single pick in the draft. So they brought in a lot of talent. They had a lot of guys in the 4th round that they brought in. They got Kyle Hamilton, which I got my thoughts on Kyle Hamilton. I think he's a great player, and I don't want to break him down right now. But I think overall the AFC North took a step forward in the right direction. Even when you look at the offseason moves with the Browns getting Deshaun Watson, the Steelers got a quarterback. Then they got some receivers to inject some talent into that roster. I
like how he was nice and said the Steelers got a quarterback. Like
they got a quarterback.
It's a guy.
That guy yet? You know what I'm saying?
It's a guy.
Exactly. He's got to do some work. He's coming out of Pitt, so we'll see what he can do. But I think overall for the AFC North, it's about to turn on its head. I think you're going to see the Bengals running the top of the AFC North. Probably maybe the Browns right behind them, and then the Steelers and Ravens, going to have to start duking it out at the bottom. So, I feel pretty good about it, though. I feel pretty good about what our team has done. And I know we're kind of switching off of Dax, but I think he really could make an impact early. He just got to get back to getting used to playing single high or at the high safety spot.
Facts for sure. See, this is why we brought Eric onto the Wincinnati Network, so you guys can hear this great content and this great insight from him. But Eric, we want to thank you for joining the show. We appreciate you, bro.
Hey, I appreciate y'all, and Houday as always.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Houday.
Sirski. So I want to take this moment to talk about our new affiliate that we're working with. The guys and gals over at Pierce Dental Group in Cincinnati, where confidence starts here. I was going to say they're located at 425 Walnut Street, Suite 201. That's in Fountain Square, Cincinnati, Ohio. Confidence starts here. Go where the pros go. Go next level, and your smile is your brand. If you notice, a lot of the Bengals now have brand new smiles. If you go check out Pierce Dental Group, like online, Twitter, anything like that, you'll see that a lot of those guys that we really like for the Bengals team right now, they currently have gotten new smiles, including none other than Joseph Burrow. So if you want to get the best done, go to the right people to do it. Pierce Dental Group.
Fact, I actually just had some dental work done today. I should have gone to Pierce Dental. I should have just jumped on a flight and flew up to Cincinnati just to get work done.
I need to go to here. We're actually working on something very, very special. I'm gonna just hint at that. Like, we're working on something really, really special, something that I don't think I've ever seen. So they are really creative as well.
Facts. Well, we're gonna do something a little different. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we are going to tee up some listener questions. That's right. If you're watching live and if you're listening, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Wincinnati. Make sure that you also leave us a 5-star review in the podcast store. We truly appreciate that. Let us get some feedback on some of the other podcasts that we have. We've got my man Just Eric with the 513. We've got the new Wincy with my boy G Money. In the Bengals post, they just interviewed Jeff Hobson. So if you haven't heard that, go back and check that out. They also have a video on that. So make sure that you're locked in with us on YouTube and wherever you get your audio podcasts at. If you can't watch the video, we truly appreciate that. But our producer, Ryan, is going to tee up some of these questions. Let's get them started. My man, Nandon. What's up, Nandon? Long-time supporter. Appreciate you, bro. He says, with our additions to the O-line, are we going to be more run-heavy or pass heavy on offense? Zim, what are your thoughts on that?
I think early on, starting in the season, I think that they're going to probably be a little pass heavy just because I think you'll see a lot of Joe like just taking the reins off and like audible and checking in the stuff a lot more often, counting the box to go run on third downs or different checks that he'll have throughout the early parts of the season. But as the season goes on and teams start to wear down, I think they'll go a little bit more run heavy. Like I remember like the Broncos game standing out to me. I remember like some of these other games where we know that the other team can't match our firepower. They're going to go predominantly run. So, but like early on, I just think like with a team like for the opener, the Steelers want to be super aggressive, pin their ears, get to the quarterback. I just think you cook them up. You get the ball out quick. You probably throw pretty heavy, get a nice sizable lead, and then from that point maybe run. So ultimately, you want it to be balanced.
Yeah, I think it's going to depend on the opponent. I think that they'll take the Bill Belichick approach. Depending on what the weaknesses of the defense is, they're just going to attack them that way. So I think the opponent will actually dictate that. So with that said, we'll get into another one here.
Let me read this one for you. I'm going to read it for you so you can. Assuming Boyd has another productive year similar to last season, any hope you think he'll take less money to stay with this team or think he'll follow the money wherever that's at?
It's funny because I think Tyler Boyd is built different. If you really study him and like his life in general, he's always been a team player. Like I think he even joined the baseball team, if I'm not mistaken, to help them win a championship. And he, didn't even like baseball, but did it that way. And so I think that it is a situation, if it comes down to winning championships, I think T. Boyd would take less money to win. But, he's got a family to support, so you got to think of it from that angle. But as long as the money is respectful, I think that he would consider it.
I think this is the part where the pessimistic Bengals fan is going to say, and I kind of think I might lean in that direction. I think that by the time he's up for his next contract, I think he's 28, 29. The amount of money and the production, you got to think he'll probably be coming off a Super Bowl win or something at that point. The amount of money that a bum team will offer him is nothing that the Bengals will be able to match because they're going to be trying to, recover from paying Jamar Chase all that money. You just paid T. Higgins, at the finale of this season. So I think that's one of those ones where, we hear them weird stories where they're just like, man, they didn't even offer me or like the offer will be so disrespectful or something because I just think the money will wash out. And I don't think they'll value him the same. That's just my opinion. I hope it doesn't go that way, but I've seen that happen too many times.
Facts. All right, we got one from Dustin Croft. I'll read this to you, Zim, because you see the Bengals using more of a 3-4 scheme in certain situations this year. With all of the versatility we have on defense, he thinks that would be dope.
I do, and I read somebody's comments talking about Akeem Davis-Gaither being like a breakout, and I just think that if you get into some 3-4 hybrid situations, one of the things I was preaching to you, and I said this all playoffs, is our calling card is next level for the defense. It's Belichick's type coaching decisions on the defensive level. Whoever we play will be multiple. We might show you something first half, second half we're going into something else, but I just think that nothing is off the table when it comes to this defense. But 3-4 scheme does benefit guys like Osai, I think, a lot. If you can get him out there and get him to stand up and do what he does and still be able to rush the passer, if they could figure that out. And then Akeem Davis-Gaither, I think, is another person that will really eat in a 3-4 scheme as well.
I mean, we've seen Lou run 5-2, dime, quarter, nickel. Like, Lou's going to throw everything at you, bro. I wouldn't be surprised what Lou throws at us. So I think, you could see that at certain points. And I think to Zim's point, depending on the competitor, we're just going to be a multiple. We can just morph all over the place. It's going to be insane for sure. Appreciate that, Dustin.
This question is from Taylor Cornell. I see you. I think I've seen you a bunch of times on Twitter, man. Appreciate you coming on here. My one question: how many total hours have you logged into Twitter Spaces? I'll hang up and listen.
That's a perfect question for Zim, boy. Zim been putting in some work on Twitter Spaces.
I've had some times where I've gone pretty crazy on Spaces. Now, the funny thing is, Eric, who just came off here, my wife was going to kill me the other night. We were getting jumped on the Twitter Spaces by like 10 Ravens. So we were at midnight yelling at the top of our lungs on the Twitter Spaces. So Man, dudes are pulling overnight shifts. I don't know. I keep on telling everybody about Twitter Spaces. These kids and these grown men or whoever the heck, grown women playing Call of Duty all night and then just be on Twitter Spaces like it's like we're back in high school. So people put in some long shifts. I don't know how many hours I put in, but on any given day, I might give you about 4 hours just chilling on my computer at work. I could give you like 4.
I would
say you'll be on there too, though.
The week that you were off, I had to pull a double duty because it was like nobody was like, we had to step it up because nobody was bringing that Zim energy. So we put in some work, I think, in Twitter Spaces. If you ask me for overall time, might be like 80 hours, bro. 80 to 120 hours between the playoffs to now. I think that we could say that we've easily done that in Twitter Spaces. I think we've easily done that for sure.
I feel like a loser saying that though. Goodness gracious.
Twitter Spaces is where it's at though. They're fun. They definitely are fun. And everybody gets a voice, right? So like if you guys are in the comments right now and you don't get to say anything, come to me and Zim's Twitter Spaces. We're gonna start doing some with the Wincinnati stuff. We'll even start playing some podcast kind of stuff there as well. We're gonna try to do some cool stuff with that.
You know what they need in Twitter Spaces too, and I don't know if Twitter's gonna steal this from me, but they need a comment section.
Hold on, Devon talking about what I'm a fan. No, I said we held it down, bro. We held it down when Zim was out of there, but we all know Zim be getting them shook up in there. We already know what type of they be wanting to kick Zim up out of there. I think that Devon, you definitely serve him up. We definitely serve him up, but they be wanting to get Zim up out of there. I think they be trying to put him in Twitter jail or something like that.
Bro, they be waiting for me to log in, and then I get a million invitations, and then knowing me being the competitor that I am, I'm like, let me just go in there, see what they're listening. Let me listen. Then all of a sudden, I go.
No, Devon, we all put in that work for sure.
Devon go crazy in there. Devon go
right in there. No, you definitely put in that work for sure, especially when you talk about that D-line stuff. See, if you're listening to this and you're like, what the hell are they talking about? Right. Jump on our Twitter.
Go on the Twitter space. Follow Ace New Strike City. Follow me, Zim Hude, on Twitter. When you see our avatar light up, just click it, and you're gonna see. You're gonna hear a brand new, the new Wild Wild West of sports.
Facts for sure. But of course, the friend of the show, Greg Luther, he says, if you could sign one player between these two, who would you rather have? Quentin Spain or Trey Hopkins? That's an easy one for me. It's gonna be Spain gang for me. It's Spain gang. It's Spain gang all day for me. Nothing against Trey Hopkins. I love what he brought to the locker room. But we saw what Quentin Spain did last year as a starter. And I think if you're just going off of last year and you're looking at performance, Quentin Spain supremely, in my opinion, outperformed Trey Hopkins last year.
I'm gonna go against the grain. I don't like I don't like Trey Hill as the backup center. I think Hopkins has the ability to play guard as well. So I'm going to go Hopkins just because of the depth at that position. I like to go see them sign a guy like – I know this is a hypothetical, Greg, but I really think they need that. They need another defense alignment in there too. But the one thing about Spain is he's best at left guard, and there's no space for him at left guard right now. Volson and Carmen are penciled in at left guard.
Volson can play. He can snap. He can be the backup center possibly. But
talk to him.
You're right. It's just Hopkins. Cool. I just wish he wouldn't have punched Aaron Donald in the face. I get protecting Joey B, but he woke that monster in Aaron Donald. But thanks, Greg. We appreciate that question, bro. We got another here from my man. I hope I am saying your name proper. Iker Odriozola or Odriozola. Appreciate you, bro. Is Puka wide receiver 4 and the returner?
I hope so. I hope he's. I think wide receiver 4. Just me looking early on at camp videos and stuff is I think Stanley Morgan might emerge as that wide receiver 4 or Trent Taylor. Trent Taylor has been getting a lot of burn too, but say one of them isn't, that's your returner. And then Puka, him and the kid Kwame Lassiter, the UDFA, they both have a similar build, similar style, super shifty, really fast. So those are guys. I mean, I love Puka. I was telling our producer Ryan, Puka, maybe it's the baby hawk in me, but I want him to get out on that field because I just think that's a whole new element. You're throwing a smoke out to Puka out there in space. You get Jamar with a block 1-on-1, and then off to the races. I mean, I just think it can happen. Give me a wide receiver screen with Puka right now.
Facts.
Give me
Talking
a
about
slipstream with
smoking
Pop
people.
Boogie.
We appreciate you guys for sending in the questions, but now it's time to throw it to our sponsor of the show, Midwest Best Barbecue.
Come and get them Uno wings. Uno wings. Who they gonna beat them Uno wings? Uno wings. MB's got you with them Uno wings. Uno wings. They tell me that the Uno wings will make you do the gritty. The Uno wings will make you do the gritty.
Shout out to Midwest Best Barbecue. Please be sure to check them out. 669 Justice Court in Loveland, Ohio. And that song was stuck in my head for a long before we even debuted it on here. I told Zim one day, I was like, bro, I got Uno wings.
It's the bass line.
It's the bass line.
It's the bass line. Like when you know, like a real like musician, like has a strong bass line to a song, like it shows. But the random backflip mixed with the chicken wings dropping in the grease is just a deadly combination.
You hitting the gritty. You hitting the gritty and
I don't know, but call me a purist, but I don't know if anything can match a random backflip in a restaurant.
I'm with you on that. You can't top a random backflip for sure. I still can't do a random backflip. I'm one of those people that I was too scared to do that. But switching things up. Let's talk about Stephon Tuitt, him retiring. Unfortunately, lost his brother. Decided to make that retirement. That was one of the reasons that he sat out last season. For those who don't know, it was a hit and run situation, very tragic situation there. But he's decided to call it a career. So how do you think that affects the Steelers and the Bengals as far as this upcoming season with Stephon Tuitt making the decision to retire?
First of all, I want to say, I want to pray for his mental health and make sure that he's in a good space, because at the end of the day, as we all know, this is way bigger than football. And, I love doing this because I just love meeting people and, rooting on our team and stuff like that. And I enjoy meeting the people. So I hope everything in his life works out for him. I hope he gets the closure and stuff he needs from his brother's murder. It's a lot of stuff going on with that. So, but that's a whole nother subject. Just from a football standpoint, for the last 2 months on Spaces, that is all I've heard is that the Steelers' vaunted defensive line is unstoppable. Wait till Stephon Tuitt comes back. He's not coming back. So now you have all these elevated snaps from DeMarvin Leal probably going to come in year one, and Tyson Alaulu or whatever. I can't even pronounce his name. I'm sorry. But guys like that, now they're depending on heavily for the strength of their team. They don't see the writing on the wall, but I've been saying this for so long. They need to sell now. I'm saying that from a Bengals standpoint, but if I'm a Steeler, they should sell now. Cam Hayward at 32 years old, you could relinquish like a possible second-round pick or something right now. Like you're in a transition period with your quarterbacks and stuff like that. Now the strength of your defense, like TJ Watt is now out there, trying to do a lot more than what, he needs to. And if they have like a rash of injuries or anything like that happen, they're in the same situation that they were in last year, except now they got Levi Wallace, who, if you ask a Bills fan, they never really even like Levi Wallace. That's now their starting corner. So there's so many different holes on that team. I think the Miles Jack addition was cool, but I don't think nothing because it was a more damaging blow than Stephon Tuitt leaving that defensive line.
First off, I want to definitely give prayers to him and his family. I know how tough it is to lose a brother personally, so definitely my heart is with him, and definitely some things are just bigger than football. From a football perspective, though, Zim, there was one thing when we first played the Steelers that I told you. I texted you and I was like, Stephon Tuitt is going to be out. This is going to be huge because Stephon Tuitt is a monster. Like, call it whatever it is. Like, he's a monster. Let's just be real. When it comes to being on the football field, those are going to be huge shoes to fill. So I think, like Zim is saying, like, it's not going to be a situation where you just essentially replace him the next season. Like you said, Cam Hayward, even though he was solid last year, he is getting older in the tooth for sure. But there was another retirement that we had as well.
Hold on, real quick. Do they call Loudermouth the Milk? Is that his name?
Loudermilk, yeah, I think.
So I'm reading the comments since we're doing a Q&A show earlier. Like, it's spilling over a little bit, but they're calling the kid Loudermouth the Milk. So that's something to be looking for. If you want content, I got you. I'm sorry. Go to your next one.
Former Bengals and he's played for several teams. Ryan Fitzpatrick called it a career today after 17 seasons. My personal favorite Ryan Fitzpatrick moment was like that post game where he had on Deshaun Jackson's chain, and he had the chest hair out, and he was like, "This is basically my team." When he was with the Bucks, and he took, what was that? Was Jameis he took Jameis' spot, or he did something? It was like he came in and ended up like taking that spot. But I would probably say that it was that one. I don't know if he was on the Washington football team. Where was he at? He's been on so many teams, bro.
I thought that was that Dolphins. Hold on, I don't even.
I gotta think about Djax.
I feel like he took this spot, and then later on in the season, all the players were mad because he got benched again in favor of like Tua or somebody like that.
Yeah, people were like, "Nah, we like Djax,"
because he was going crazy at the beginning of the season. But yeah. A couple key points from today's show that you can go tell everybody, like backflips are super cool in restaurants. Chest hairs are very important, and Steelers apparently.
It was with the Bucks. It was with the Bucks because he had a 75-yard touchdown to Djax. Because I remember Djax liked Ryan Fitzpatrick more than Jameis Winston, and he was doing his thing. And then he had the shades on, he had the chain on, he had the chest hair out. Like That's how I'm going to remember Ryan Fitzpatrick going out, because he was not good for the Bengals. If we keeping it 100, he was not good that year, 2008, with the Bengals.
Right. He went and got seasoned at all these other places, and he became something very different.
Facts. And then he was on the Bills and stuff like that. But, yeah, shout out to Ryan Fitzpatrick. Glad that the career turned around for sure. Glad that he's able to retire in the twilight of his career. But I just want to let you guys know we're here every Tuesday and Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to watch us live, please be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you do miss us there and you're on a car ride, please be sure to find us in any of your podcast platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever. We're going to be there. But thank you guys so much for listening to the Wincinnati Podcast.
Wincinnati. Yes. Hello, world. We got a special show, as always. TJ Wincinnati, Jimmy Chase, Coach Jimmy Burrow.
How do you balance being a professional athlete and family obligation? These are top 5 Bengals of all time.
All time? Yeah. Shock the world.